All right, welcome to our live coverage of Wizards Media Day on 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980 on YouTube. And as you see right there, head coach Wes Unseld Jr. with us. Wes, how we doing, man?
Great, thanks. Thanks
Been
for
a
having me.
whole week since I saw you. We don't have media members playing mediocre basketball in front of us.
Oh, thank God.
I did razz Will a little bit. Dawkins just sat down for an interview that people will be able to hear a little bit later. But I did razz him a little bit for his sprint off the bench, cherry pick, stand on the block. He quickly brought up that he brought his team back later after I left. So
that is true. They were down big, and I think it was a 20-plus point deficit.
Whew.
So they walked them down, made it a one possession game. So kudos to them.
Kudos to them, whatever that's worth. Speaking of Will, I want to start the actual questions with you, talking about the relationship between Will, Michael, you. Will had actually a really interesting quote when he talked about the relationship between like the top and the coaching staff. He's like, let's be clear, Wes is a part of that. Wes is part of the top. And I mentioned that just as context, not in contrast to what it's been. But I do want to ask you the contrast of like what the working relationship was like with Tommy these last couple of years and how things have changed with Will and Michael in the fold here.
Well, Tommy and I had a great working relationship. I mean, it was a relationship of constant communication. We would touch base several times a day. I think the biggest difference is, the collaboration of other departments, on top of my communication with Will and Mike. More so with the leadership team in a group. That they want to operate that way and make sure there's a steady flow of information going back and forth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, it's going to change as well once you guys get into the season. Analytics, all that kind of stuff that gets passed from a front office to a coaching staff. How have you been able to, with some of your new hires, integrate people who can get you the information you want, maybe translate some of the information they want you to have that's different than stuff that you've used in the past? And how's that, like, how much pre-planning have you guys done for that adaptation process?
Quite a bit. Some of it is, getting people up to speed with what we've done, looking back and dialing into those things. Are those things efficient? Are those things the right things? Are those the right metrics? Is this the best process? And that's one of many takeaways from Will and Mike. They're very process-driven. Very reflective, as far as what we're doing and making sure that putting our players first, the staff, but being mindful of every single detail.
So one of the things that I think is going to be interesting this season, and perhaps it's most interesting from your seat, is this is very process-oriented. I think fans, media, I'm certainly trying to take a long view on what's being built here. You're the coach who lives it day to day. Like, the wins and losses matter to you and the players more than anybody else. So how do you balance that very clear directive that, like, we're about the small wins, we're about this process, with trying to win every basketball game that you guys lace it up for?
Yeah, we want to make sure we're competitive, and that might not translate to wins. But you want teams to walk away from playing the Wizards and know that, we had to play to beat this team. We have to compete at the highest level. You want our guys to enjoy competing, enjoy the connectivity that it takes to be a really good team. Of course, we'll have to find small measures. I think we've measured some things internally, but to see the day-to-day improvement, the week-to-week improvement, the month-to-month improvement individually and collectively, I think we keep stacking those, we'll be heading in the right direction. It's
year one for them, but it's year 3 for you. Like, is this going to be a test of your own patience?
I think I'm a pretty patient guy.
Yeah.
And I think there's a vibe of excitement. I think, having these guys here since early September, they're connecting and developing some on-court synergy. It's it's a really good competitive vibe, and I think there's a lot of joy in the room. Guys are starting to show a little bit of themselves and a little bit more of their personality. So it's new and different at the same time, but it's nice to also have some pieces back, on the returning team.
How is the vibe different when it's a bunch of younger guys? Like, a guy like Brad had been here for 10 years, and obviously when you're that and you're the face of the franchise and you're second all-time leading scorer, you're Bradley Beal in the Washington Wizards. Like, that sets a certain tone from the top. With that gone, how is the vibe different?
Well, to your point, it is a young group, but I also think it's a mature group. We have some young players who've been integral parts of, a championship team, of really good teams, playoff teams. So there's a balance of, the youthful movement, but then you have some steady presence on the veteran side. Guys like Gallo, Taj, Mike Muscala, been around for a bit. I look at Tyus Jones as a young vet. We'll continue to see Kuz take a step forward in that role. And then Jordan, of course, who he's won a championship and already at the age of 24 has that experience that we all covet.
Wes Unseld Jr. with us here on the Hoffman Show at Wizards Media Day. So I think the most interesting comments, and I think I've asked you about this before, but like now with the summer to reflect on it, the most interesting thing to come out of the end of last year for me was Corey's comments about not really having an identity. It changed night to night based off who was healthy, which was never the same guys. For you as a coach, like to spend a summer cultivating what this identity is going to be, like what have you kind of landed on? What's the message to your team as you get started of this is who we are?
Well, I think the first thing is, the competitive piece is one thing. That's going to be a given, but modernizing how we play. I think playing with a little bit more tempo, finding ways to generate more threes. And I think that's, regardless of who's out there, we can control those areas. Our competitiveness, our shot profile, our connectivity. They don't always have empirical backing, but I do think that tends to lead us in the right direction and contribute to winning.
One of my favorite phrases of yours is shot diet. I love a Wes Unseld shot diet quote.
I need to be on a diet. Diet.
We don't tolerate that kind of talk on this show. We're very positive on that regard. But a shot diet we can talk about. How do you ensure that the shot, like one, you kind of touched on it there, more threes, but how do you shape the shot diet to be the right shots at the right times by the right players?
Yeah, I think the one piece that often gets overlooked is when. I think a lot of guys understand the why, that the value and the overall efficiency for certain areas on the floor is higher than others. We don't want to live in a world of black and white. There's a lot of gray in the game. Certain guys it's a good shot for this guy, might not be a great shot for that guy. But, it's an area that we want to try to reinforce. Obviously, we want to get to the rim, open up corner threes, above the break threes, paint twos and the non-paint twos being the less effective. But understanding late in the clock, we want the best possible possession we can generate. So if that's a tough contested mid-range two, then so be it. We don't want to just say that that is totally out of the game. Certainly a strength for some guys, but want to minimize and hunt those high-value shots early, minimize the suboptimal in the meat of the possession, and in the possession, find the best opportunity we can.
What are your early impressions of Jordan?
There's a youthful maturity, and I think he's done it organically where he's not coming in from a space where he knows it all or he's experienced it all. He's asking a lot of questions and trying to connect and get to know his teammates. Then also he's showing us what he likes. Certain areas on the floor, certain actions he's very efficient in. So it's been great to just kind of sit back and let it play out and just kind of watch from afar. And, he's a dynamic, guard. I think he can take a lot of steps forward in a number of areas, but he's already shown us that, he's capable.
As a man with a very nice beard, what do you think of Jordan's beard?
It's it'll come. It'll come.
More on the youthful than the maturity side of the youthful maturity.
I tell you, I'll take the hair over the beard. So we could trade.
There's that. I am so curious for you as a guy who came in, touted, highly skilled defensive coach, and certainly that is something that you have in your bag. You look at a player like Jordan, who, from everything I've heard, his work ethic is outrageous. But he's also had a very, difficult defensive, some very difficult defensive moments in high leverage situations for Golden State. Like, the tape is the tape. It is what it is. How do you leverage that work ethic and that desire and that maturity into efficacy on the defensive end for him?
Well, it starts with the will and the want. And he's shown that he wants to be good. He's got the physical tools to do it. And of course, you'll have to live through some youthful mistakes. Obviously, those high pressure moments, it matters. Those become magnified. But I think going through those experiences, he'll be better for it. And I think just him dialing into being a coverage expert, understanding exactly what needs to be done in each and every possession, that takes time. That takes reps.
I think one of the other interesting things for you this year is going to be managing the rotation. There's a lot of players that feel like they're at very similar levels. So how much of a feel do you have right now for what your rotation looks like, or do you think that is something that is definitely going to evolve, or do you feel like going into the season like, hey, as long as we're not, there'll be injury management, all those kinds of things, but like I actually kind of know what it's going to look like?
You have it on paper, always in pencil.
Yeah.
But you do want a healthy degree of competitive preseason to see where it shakes out. Along with the right fit, I think it's important. It's good to have your best players out there, and you're going to rely on those best players as much as you can. But we also have to find minutes for young guys. And I think doing that early in the season will allow them to get through some of the minutia of youth and understanding, and we'll be better for it later in the year.
So two guys I want to ask you about exactly in that vein. Bilal, where does he fit? And you said the other day at your season opening presser, like he's probably going to get some G League time, which I think made a couple people go, whoa, okay, considering how good he was in Summer League. But where does he fit in the big team rotation?
He's going to play, and I can't tell you how much. I can't tell you when. But, I think –
What in terms of positionally, like does he have the flexibility to go 2 through 4, 2 through 5?
I think he does. I really do. And we'll be patient with him. And I think he's going to show us some things as we go. But the biggest thing is for him to dial into habits. With his consistency, it's got to be a day-to-day thing. Just making that work ethic. He's got the work ethic, but kind of channeling what that looks like for him every day. And he's got to just find ways to stack those days together consecutively, and I think he'll be a different player by the end of the year.
Other guys, Johnny, where does he? You guys have a ton of different guards. Yeah. He's got a pretty unique skill set. I feel like the defensive stopper kind of mold in that. How does that fit in?
I think likewise. He's going to have to find ways to carve out minutes. It'll be earned. I think the experience he had toward the end of last year was telling. He's certainly capable. A lot of it just based on opportunity, but once again, there's got to be a level of consistency with it.
Last question I'm going to ask everybody. WNBA Finals, who you got?
Ooh,
just hit him right with it, right out of left field.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do I have to say it?
I mean, I can't make you, but it's certainly better for the interview if you do.
Boy. That's pressure.
Hardest question you'll be asked all day?
You know what? It's – ooh.
I feel like you've almost answered it 4 times.
I know. I don't want to say it, though. All right, I'll go with New York.
Okay. All right.
We'll go with New York.
Anthony, that's one for you over there. He's on the Liberty. I got the Aces.
I know. It's a tough one.
But it's the 2 very good teams.
Yeah.
That's this prognostication thing. It's not so easy. Wes Unseld Jr. with us here on the Hoffman Show. Of course, also the Team 980, your home for Wizards basketball. Welcome back to our Wizards Media Day live coverage on YouTube for 106.7 The Fan and the Team 980, where you see Kyle Kuzma sitting down. Excited to do this, Kuz. Appreciate it. Somehow we're going to have to yell at PR. Now they're not here, I can talk about them. You were like the one guy we didn't get last year on the radio show. So you're starting it with a bang this year. I'd love to just start with kind of a vibe check. Like, obviously, when you have a guy like Brad who's been here for so long, you had KP, other veteran who had been here. Those guys are gone. You have this young group coming in, and you're the face of the franchise now. You're the guy with the tenure, all 3 years of it now, going into year 3 in Washington. Yeah, right. But like you're the guy. You and JP are seen as kind of the guys on the posters, all that kind of stuff. As you enter this season with that being the situation, how's it feel?
I mean, for me personally, I'm just like grateful. First of all, obviously this is something I've been waiting for my entire career, and not many NBA players can say they have an opportunity like this in front of them. So for me, it's just important just to take advantage of it. And, it's great because it gives you even more confidence, you know what I mean? And I'm already confident, but, naturally walking in, like it just feels different. So
famously, you're a guy who needs way more confidence.
Say it again?
I said famously, you're a guy that needs way more confidence.
Look, you can never have too much. We all have insecurities, right?
For sure.
So, you can never have too much, so it's great.
I mean, specific to that, though, in all seriousness, like the plan last year with keeping you at the deadline and all right, we're going to re-sign him with this big deal, like that's put forward by a GM who then gets dismissed after the season. And obviously there's a belief in Wes, and he's still here. But what were those initial conversations with Will and Michael like when they got here? And then how relieved were you, or how excited were you when you talked to them and saw that that plan was still in place?
Just because they're straight shooters at the end of the day, and that's the people I like to do business with and work with. So naturally it just made it easy because going into the meetings that I had with them and them just being, really transparent and saying like, yo, listen, like you have an opportunity in front of you. This is what you want. So, if you want to, come in and you want to like build an environment and you want to continue to build your name and however you want to take your career, I mean, where else you going to do it? You know what I mean? So, DC is a great city to do that in. Obviously, being here for 3 years, like growing fond of the city more and more, and just like I said, this is what I wanted, and I've always wanted it. So
yeah, what is it that you love so much about the city?
The city, man, I feel safe here, man. That's the biggest thing. I live out in Virginia, but I just feel like I can walk my dogs anywhere. I think I can just go to restaurants, and people don't really bother you here, so it just feels like home. It's just chill, and it's the East Coast is a little bit different than the West, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's something I don't know. I moved here in 2015, and like instantly it was like I love this place. Like, and it's the same thing. I was living out in Virginia at the time. I live in DC now, but like I actually think people that don't take advantage of the entire area are missing out. Like whether it's DC, Maryland, Virginia, like there's stuff all around, and it's obviously DC traffic can be a bore, but generally speaking, it's pretty easy to get around.
It's top 5 worst in the country.
Really, you think so?
It's top 5.
You're an LA guy though. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you.
You're qualified.
Listen, my off season I live in LA and Florida, both bad areas.
Yeah.
And then when DC's bad, it can be bad.
Yeah.
Especially if you're up by like that.
The bridge by the Beltway.
395. Yeah.
Oh, or that too. Yeah.
No, not the 495. Is it?
Yeah. The Beltway.
Yes,
yeah.
That one is crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it's so many different pockets, because you could be in Arlington, there's stuff to do, there's stuff to do in Bethesda, there's stuff to do in D.C. So, it's like different vibes at each places too. So it's cool.
It's a great neighborhood town.
Yeah.
That's I think the cool thing.
Yeah.
It's different than like a New York or whatever else in that way. LA's got that for sure too.
LA does for sure.
The distinct neighborhoods.
It's more wholesome here, so it's cool.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. Notoriously wholesome. Kyle Kuzma with us here on the Hoffman Show. All right, from a basketball standpoint, as you guys start to build this thing, like, I was just talking to Wes about the shot diet, how that changes. He said you guys want to modernize a little bit this year, play a little bit faster. What's your role in that?
Just following through with, what the coaches want. Obviously, with me being, one of the people at the helm, I have to be an extension of the coaches and what they want to do and how they want to play. But playing fast and modern sounds amazing. So I think for us, we were really slow last year, and I think this year with our personnel and being younger and having Poole and having Tyus loves throwing that up pass. Corey loves running the wing. Deni's a speed demon. So, and then I like to get up and down in transition too. So it just naturally fits our team, and I'm excited because it's going to be actually like fun to watch. And I watch film a lot, and I feel like last year it's kind of not fun to always watch the way we played. And I think, just from being in open gym, how it feels, watching open gym, like it's just quick, decisive, and go up and down and go. So it's fun.
What is the difference that Tyus makes? He's a name that I've started to talk to people around the team. He's coming up a lot. Like, what's Tyus Jones like?
He's a good dude, man. He's just a good dude. I think for him, he does a great job of, obviously he doesn't turn the ball over, and he's a sense of calmness on the court. I know a lot of times, and it's going to help all of us too. For me, a lot of times I may be sporadic on the court. Same thing with Jordan a little bit. So like having that ball handler that can just have everybody just breathe, calm, get in your spot, come off a screen, deliver the ball, come off pick and roll, hit you on the back, that's fun to play with. And he's a team guy. How he plays his team. He's not out there hunting assists or holding the ball too long. You know what I mean? Like, he's off it, decisive, and like he plays the right way, and that's to win. So,
I think it's interesting watching you when you really get going. And there's this, I don't want to call it a high wire act. Like, you're too good to call it a high wire act. Like, when you really get going, like, feed Kuz, like, let's go.
Zone, yeah.
But how do you, when you get in those moments, especially now you got a guy like JP, you have Corey on the wing, like, you have all these guys around you that are playmakers as well. How do you balance, getting your own shots and riding that zone versus, all right, maybe, I can take advantage of the fact that they're starting to pay a little more attention to me, dish off and let others get in their opportunity without losing that hot streak?
Yeah, I think, you just said it. I think last year, like, I got a real taste of, like, kind of being, like, a number one option or, like, a focal point of the offense a little bit, especially when guys were out. And then just realizing that, like, one, for me, I can be in zones, but like when I play basketball, like, I prefer to pass first and like get people involved and make the right plays. So naturally, if I get hot, like if you want to double me, that's fine. Like, I'm comfortable passing the ball. A lot of guys, they get hot and then they double team, and then the team kind of gets stagnant because they don't really know how to like just play off other people. But the biggest thing is, like, if somebody's hot, you let them roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a fan of that. Like, if it's me, I'm rolling. If it's JP, like, we have times in open gym where we're on the same team and he's took all 6 shots and he's just made all 6 shots and we're good because it's like, yo, you're cooking. Like, go
right.
Keep going.
Cook.
Like, keep cooking. So,
yeah.
That's the thing that you have to have a team to really buy into too, because a lot of times, you'll be on teams and if somebody's cooking, somebody might just get in the way of you cooking, and like, this team is not going to be this way. And I think, we all understand that as a collective group, and it's going to be fun. So,
all right, last basketball question I have for you. Then I got a couple of fun off the wall ones. Because we're a sports radio show, like, they're coming.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fascinating that, like, you, JP, you guys have won championships.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have seen, and for him, he's seen Steph and Clay and Draymond and like these guys that are going to the Hall of Fame. For you, LeBron, AD, like, you've seen it and what it's like at that level.
Yeah.
How do you bring that here from an example, and then also beyond just lead by example? I think I was reading actually a book on leadership recently, and Tom Izzo was actually quoted as saying, like, I don't believe in leading by example because that just means you're working hard and not bringing anybody with you. So how do you, which I thought was pretty fascinating, because obviously if you see a guy working hard, you might follow.
Right.
But how do you bring that level of, like, hey guys, this is what it takes to work at a championship level to this group?
Well, I think it's a balance, because there are those leaders that just rah-rah, but then it's like you kind of rah-rah yourself to sleep a little bit, and you talk a little bit too much, and guys turn you out too, so tune you out. So I think for me, I'm just myself, like, I speak, I'm very communicative, but, my main thing is just leading by example, because at the end of the day, if I'm not holding myself accountable to the things I got to do every day to be great, as I say I want to, then how is somebody else going to believe you or want to follow lead or follow suit? So naturally, there's going to be times where you have to say something, because at the end of the day, guys will get tired to listen to a coach talk all the time. Like, that's natural sports nature. But, you know, it's all about really just having that balance and being yourself at the end of the day, not overthinking it, you know?
All right, fashion question. Most underrated fashion house.
Underrated fashion house. Ooh. Bottega.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would say them for sure. I mean, they're catching a lot of steam right now. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
The bags are
Bags
on
are
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wifey's big on that one.
Wifeys are always big on that. Wifeys are big on that one.
Yeah.
Mine too.
The Bottega bag is a must right now. WNBA Finals. Who you got?
Ooh.
This is apparently the hardest question I'm asking today. Wes tried to duck me on it.
He tried to duck you. I don't know, man. You know, the Aces are loaded. But I really want to see Stewie rock out one time. Stewie and Sabrina, like Jonquel Jones. I like them. I like them. They tough. I'm rocking with them right now. I'm not gonna lie. And Stewie's a Puma athlete, so
She is.
naturally we have the same Puma rep. So like I always try to support her. But the Aces are loaded though too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be interesting.
That's kind of a duck, Anthony. I don't know. There wasn't like a real answer there.
It sounded like the Liberty, right?
Sounded like Liberty? Okay. We'll mark it down. Liberty. Okay. And then because we are a sports talk radio show and this is as good as we do from the creativity department, quick hitters, we're calling it the Whiz Quiz because that's as creative as I could get this morning.
Okay.
So the Whiz Quiz, Kyle Kuzma is the first one to go through this. Favorite vacation you've ever been on?
South of France.
Okay.
Yeah, south of France. Went to like Cannes, Monaco, Nice, the whole Riviera. So it was nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's the place that you haven't been that you want to go?
Amalfi Coast, Italy.
That's
I'll
a
be
great
there
call.
soon.
Great call.
Yeah.
What's your coffee order?
My coffee, just straight black.
Okay.
Yeah. Just say if I'm like kind of tired of that, I'll do iced black coffee.
Okay. That's the mix-up. I add ice to my black coffee.
Yeah, that's it.
Teammate that you trust the most to drive on a road trip?
To drive Anthony Gill.
That is a phenomenal call. He's probably going to be the unanimous choice.
Yeah, because he doesn't really drink, you know, obviously, so I trust him the long way.
Yeah, and got kids. Like, he's a responsible guy.
Responsible.
Who's the teammate that you trust the least to drive on a road trip?
Probably Deni. Probably Deni.
I'm a little scared that one might also be unanimous.
Yeah, probably.
Yikes. All right, best and worst on the aux in the locker room?
It just all depends. Deni, I'd say Deni's probably one of the worst because like he just has the same set of songs.
Okay.
And I don't think he has like the vibe check you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You know, he can't like switch it up, and he's a little young, so you know he doesn't really know.
Yeah.
You know, it's different genres you can listen to. You know what I mean?
Who's the best?
I'm gonna go with myself. You know,
Okay.
I actually like to DJ. Like,
Okay.
I like know how to DJ, so like
Okay.
I'm always I don't.
You got like a
I don't
SoundCloud or
watch
something?
TV.
Can we?
I don't watch TV. I literally go in my house and I'm like even in my office or I'm like listening to music all day. So
Love it. And then last but not least, you got one shot on the court outside the paint for $1,000. Where are you spotting up?
corner.
Corner three?
Yeah, corner three.
All right.
Easy.
All right. Easy enough. That's the first whiz quiz. Any questions
Hope I
we
did
should
well.
ask?
No, I think that was solid.
That was good. Just a nice little quick hitter.
Like it.
All right, cool. Everybody, that's Kyle Kuzma with us here on The Hoffman Show. Welcome back to our coverage of Wizards Media Day. Tyus Jones with us now. Tyus, appreciate it, man. How's DC treating you so far?
DC's treating me well. I'm glad to be here. Just kind of getting situated.
What's been your early impressions of working with Wes Unseld? I feel like you guys are a great fit. From everything I've heard about you and like demeanor-wise, I just feel like you guys are going to get along great. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
You're welcome, by the way, for setting you up to like just praise your coach.
Yeah, right. Thank you for that. But no, yeah, it's been great. Starting to get familiar with Wes. I'm looking forward to just being an extension of him on the court. But like you say, yeah, his demeanor, calm, cool, and collected. And I think that kind of goes right along with me and how I try to approach the game, approach life, honestly. So I'm looking forward to continue to build that relationship that we got, and I'm excited for it.
So we were just talking to Kuz, and he talked about how even in like these pickup games, like you're the guy who's kind of like, hey, let's settle it down. Let's get back in our rhythm when things can start to get a little chaotic. Yeah. It's a nice balance of Kyle and JP being chaos agents and you calming things down. Yeah. But you're a fiery competitor. Mm-hmm. Like there's a burn there that we've seen. I mean, for those of us that have been watching you since Duke, like we've seen it. So how do you keep that competitive fire, but also make sure it's tempered with control of the game?
Yeah, and it's just that's a part of my role. That's a part of my job as a point guard is to kind of keep everyone level, right? The game is full of ups and downs, full of runs and droughts, unfortunately. But just being even keel is just a part of the point guard's role. And but ultimately, yeah, like you said, I'm a competitor. I want to win. That's the most important thing. So it's like everyone's competing out there for that one goal is to win the game. But at the same time, there's different approaches to how we get to there. And but like you said, like mixing myself and my approach with JP's or with Kuz and with Kuz, I think there's a good balance there, and that's kind of what you need.
So I think it's interesting to follow up with kind of the next question I had because it leads right into it, that idea that you want to just win every game. Like that is the ultimate point of playing the sport. Like it's not a unique thing to you, but there's the way you go about it. But there's also a reality of you've been on a team the last couple of years that's had finals aspirations. Yeah. And now you're at a team that is admitting out loud to everyone like this is stage one of a rebuild. Yeah. Now, by the same token, I've talked to Wes, I've talked to Will today. Like we know you guys think that you can win games this year, sure. But it is a different level of outside expectations. So how do you process all of that, the internal, the external, in terms of expectations and where you guys are headed this season?
Yeah, it's about balance. It's about balance, keeping things in perspective, like you said, but at the same time, again, going back to what I just said, we're all competitors. We're all competing. We all hate losing. I think if you ask Wes, if you ask Will, if you ask Michael, like they want to win. Yeah. Everybody wants to win, and so we're following their lead, but at the same time understanding it's a new group, a lot of new faces. You have to build chemistry. There's things that you have to go through ultimately to get to that, that mountaintop. And so it's about, kind of understanding that, but at the same time not accepting failure, not accepting mediocrity.
It's a terrible word.
It is.
Both in like you don't want to achieve it in any aspect of life, and also it's very hard to say.
Exactly. But you know what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, not accepting that and continuing to just work and grind and be in the gym every day and take steps forward as a group, take steps forward individually, and ultimately you look up and now you're where you want to be, and now you're competing, and now you're a contender and things of that nature. So
how has your leadership evolved and your leadership style evolved throughout your career?
Yeah, definitely more vocal now. My first few years I was really I'm a reserved person in general. If you ask anybody like off the court, I'm pretty quiet to myself. I'm a homebody, things like that. And so that translated onto the court. But I knew for myself to be the player that I wanted to be, I had to kind of get out of that shell. As a point guard, you're not going to be the leader you ultimately can be if you're not vocal. Some of the best leaders in this game you've seen, they're extremely vocal. Not all their teammates like them. They hold people accountable, things like that. And so you don't have to be on all the way on that, on that side of the, of things, but you have to have some of that in, as a point guard. You have to have some of that, vocal, being outgoing more, And I think I found a good balance of that, and then just experience, honestly. Just being around, seeing how things go, seeing what works, how to be. I've been a part of some bad teams, I've been a part of some good teams, and so you kind of see, okay, what are the common denominators of the good teams? What are some of the common denominators of the bad teams? What didn't work? What did work? And things like that. So
I'm going to put a pin in all of that, and we're going to have you back on the show because I want to unpack that at length, but you were on a schedule, so I'm going to have to get to my my fun end questions here. First, who do you have in the WNBA Finals?
The Aces.
You're the first person, one, to say the Aces, and two, to not hesitate, and I think those are both good qualities for you. Also, we're doing what we're calling the Whiz Quiz because we're a sports talk radio show, and we're not that creative.
Okay.
And it rhymes, and that's...
Not to interrupt,
yeah.
but I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
You know how people say that. Not
Yeah.
to be rude, but I'm going to be
Yeah,
rude.
yeah. And you're not being rude.
Who's,
It's fine.
Who's like the favorite?
I mean,
The
so far we
Liberty?
got 2 or 3 votes, Liberty? Yeah. Anthony counts. So I'm on the Aces, but I'm also like AC's my homie, so you know that's I'd probably be picking them anyway, but
Okay.
I gotta roll with my homie. But yeah, they should be the favorites. That's the correct answer. All due respect to the Liberty. That's
Right.
going to be a bad video clip if they win. All right, our Whiz Quiz. Your favorite vacation you've ever been on? Favorite vacation spot?
Dominican Republic.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's the place that you still haven't made it to that you want to be your new favorite vacation spot?
Greece.
That is a great call as
Working
well.
working on that.
What's your coffee order?
A medium iced vanilla latte with almond milk.
Okay, almond milk guy.
Simple.
Kuz, straight black coffee.
No comment.
Who's the teammate you trust the most to drive on a road trip?
Okay, so I'm still.
You're still learning.
I'm
This I know
still
this one might be
learning
hard for you.
everybody. So I'm gonna say Taj because I played with Taj in Minnesota, so we got
Okay,
I'm
this one
familiar
might be
with
hard, but it
that.
also might not be. Who's the teammate you least trust to drive on a road trip?
Deni.
That's going to be the consensus answer. I just know it. I almost feel bad. Almost. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room.
Haven't had enough time.
Okay.
I'm the
Well,
best though.
Okay. Well,
But
that's easy.
I don't know the worst yet.
Okay.
So,
Give it time. I'm sure it'll
yeah,
happen quickly.
yeah.
Or maybe it won't because you'll just be like, no, I got it, guys.
Exactly. That's, hopefully.
All right, last one we're asking. You got one shot on the court outside the paint for $1,000. Where are you taking it from?
I'm taking one shot. Okay, if we're looking at the hoop,
Yeah.
left corner.
Left corner.
Yep.
She's left corner guy. All right.
Sir.
Like it. Nice and easy. Tyus Jones. I'm looking forward to talking the kind of the development of leadership and
For
good
sure.
things, good teams, bad teams, all
Yeah,
that stuff
we can
later
do
on
that.
in the year.
We can do
Appreciate
that.
it.
Appreciate
Tyus Jones with us, everybody, here on Wizards Media Day. Continue our coverage of Wizards Media Day here on YouTube 106.7 The Fan, and the Team 980 and Corey Kispert is with us now. Why are you carrying around a basketball all day?
It makes me feel comfortable. I don't know. It's like home for me. And
Yeah.
it's media day. There's a lot of cameras, a lot of flashing lights, and you want to bring a little piece of home with you.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, I dig it. I'm almost a little sad that the basketball's on the ground. There you go.
There it
Now I
is.
feel
Back
better.
where it belongs.
Yeah, we got to hold it. We got to make sure that you're comfortable.
Thank you.
You also got married this offseason.
Sure did.
Congratulations.
Thank
Where
you.
was the wedding?
The wedding was in Southern California, and then we went to Europe for the honeymoon.
Love that. Where in Europe?
We did Croatia and Greece.
Oh, that's that's very high on the list.
Big time.
Might also come up in a later question.
Okay.
We're doing some vacation questions. And ironically, as we kind of piece all of that together, not intentional, it just kind of happened. Do you remember last year when we sat down and I accidentally asked you about a golf trip that you never went on?
Yeah, I do. And did I like play along?
You did. You did. You were great.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But it was ironically about my wedding, which had been in Scotland, and I saw a tweet that you had been in Scottsdale, and I misread it, and then it was like right before the interview, and so we got all that. So now here, your wedding this summer, we just come full circle. How is the golf game though?
The golf game is still tight. Playing a lot, especially in the summers, and then the grind doesn't really stop during the season too. So any chance I can get out there and swing the sticks, I will.
And do you have a favorite golf trip from the summer?
Golf trip this summer. I didn't bring the clubs on the honeymoon. Didn't get the clearance for that.
Okay.
And but I had a bunch of friends over. I live in Arizona in the off season. Had a bunch of friends over, like right as the season was over, and we played, I think 4 rounds in 4 days, maybe 4 rounds in 3 days. The
PGA Tour style grind.
Yeah, it was a grind. It was.
Yeah.
A lot of sympathy for those guys now.
Yeah. I mean, it is tough, but also like if you're just out there playing golf, no pressure. You're not trying to earn your living.
No, life's easy. Life's easy.
All right, so to the basketball, and I've been wanting to talk to you since you gave your season-ending press conference last year. I'm sure you've been asked about these comments a lot today, but I think you did such a great job of identifying one of the main issues, if not the main issue with the team last year. Like you guys just did not have an identity for how you were going to play night to night. As you've seen this team start to come together and you've had an offseason to reflect how you fit into that identity, how do you kind of put the season in perspective and what you're trying to do through that lens?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. And I mean, like I said in the postseason interview, like identity is about doing like the small things every single day. And it gets really hard, like the days kind of blur together in December and January, and you're in certain cities and you don't remember where you are when you wake up. Things like that makes it really hard to be consistent. And the goal of this team is to like stack each day and win each day. We're going to be fun. We're going to be competitive. We're going to play fast. All things that I think I can do really, really well. And from what we've talked about as a team, I know we're only a week and a half in. Training camp starts tomorrow. It's going to be a really fun team. I think we're going to have a very strong identity, and we're going to be able to kind of be a really fun watch for people because of that.
So when you talk about that style of play, like does it change your off season at all, from conditioning, from like what shots you're taking? Like obviously you want to get better, you want to develop, round out your skill set, but like when you have a clearer vision of where you fit in something going into it, how does that change your off season?
Yeah, it kind of shifts the target a little bit, right? You get a clear picture of what you're going to be doing in the season coming, and you know what to work on. And so for me, my work this summer was super focused, and it was really precise, and getting better at things I knew I was going to do in games and how I could, best help this team win and help this team develop. So you're exactly right. You hit it right on the head.
One of the fan questions I got on Twitter that I thought was a good one specifically for you is like, people know you're a great shooter, obviously, but people started to realize like, oh, he's a great cutter as well. Is there like another nuanced part of your game that you hope you get a little more recognition for?
Yeah. I mean, I hope I get recognized. People say I'm a sneaky athlete. Of course, right? And we're gonna read between the lines on that one, but
we don't have to. Like yesterday, this is like related. Yesterday during the Commanders-Eagles game, the play-by-play or the color commentator called Sam Howell sneaky athletic like 7 times. It's like, yeah, he's a white quarterback that can run. Like we got it. He's sneaky athletic.
Yeah, and I've been hit with that as well, and I'm hoping to prove people that I'm just like plain athletic this year.
You're just gonna catch some bodies,
dunk some balls. It's gonna be good.
I love that. That's good. He's not sneaky athletic, everybody. He's just athletic Corey Kispert.
Thank you.
How were your initial meeting? Actually, before we even get to talking to Michael and to Will about the identity piece, and I think a lot of the stuff that you talked about was kind of how they came in, probably before they even were aware of those comments. But how were those comments received internally by specifically Wes when you were talking with him? Because I'm sure you said that internally before you said it externally.
Yeah, of course. And, gave it a chance to breathe a little bit after the season was over and then said what I said. And I got nothing but positive feedback from them as well. They want us to be an active participant in this locker room. They want us to share our opinion and voice our concerns. And that's a product of a healthy environment. And that's going to be, a staple for us going forward. As long as you handle it professionally and respectfully, they want to hear your opinion. And, as I progress, and even though it's only 3 years, I'm like the second longest tenured guy here now, or one of the longest tenured guys, my voice carries more weight. And I have the ability to kind of share that with others now rather than just being a leader by example.
It's like, do you see yourself as a leader on this team?
100%. And it was hard the first 2 years because I have come from leadership positions to kind of take more of a backseat with guys that are, bigger and more established in the league and on this team than me. And there's still guys who are more established in the league on this year's team as well. But just kind of being in the locker room and showing what I have and the work I've put in kind of buys you more voice amongst the players.
I'm going to preface this question by saying I'm not asking this in a way to set you up to take a shot at Brad. So nobody take this out of context. But you mentioned the tenure, and when the guy's got that much tenure and he leaves, there's a big amount of space to be filled. So, like, how much of it is a byproduct of the roster construction now and his absence, where he's been the face of the franchise and all of that, and an ability to fill that space?
Yeah, I mean, and even if you were setting me up, I would never take a shot at Brad.
Yeah.
Like, he's amazing, and I have nothing but positive things to say about him. But, I mean, he's not here anymore on this team. And everything about this team, from the changes we made in the front office to the coaching staff to the roster, and even the way that our organization runs internally, is all fresh. And it's all new, and it's designed to be that way. So there's going to be new faces stepping up and leading. There's going to be trial and error, and guys are going to be kind of trying their hand at different roles, and we're going to see what sticks.
Who are some of the guys that you've clicked with, new roster guys already?
Mm-hmm. I like JP a lot. He brings a fresh energy into this locker room, something that we really needed. He comes in and he works really, really hard, and you can tell that he's learned a ton from his time in Golden State about those guys and what it takes to win at a high level. And while he carries himself with like a enthusiasm that's really contagious, he cares deeply about what he does.
Do you ask him, or have you asked him anything about, just pure shooting stuff, considering he was at Steph Curry camp for as many years?
He was. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been knocking on the door 90% from the line for a while, for my first 2 years, and he's had that while I haven't. So it's been a lot of free throw conversations between us. Gotcha.
It's a free throw. Can I ask you what the tips have been? It's a free throw. There's no defense. It's not like they can stop you.
I mean, it's a mental game from the line. You got to do the same thing every single time and commit to the shot you want to shoot. But he and I are going to be shooting free throws a lot after practice. Love that.
All right. So when you have the conversations with Dawkins and Winger when they get in here, what are those conversations like?
I mean, they're immediately transparent with us. They wanted to let us know that they're going to put us first, try to build a winning environment and a culture that isn't just going to last this year. It's going to last years to come. They want to run a first-class organization, a tight ship, and they've been super communicative with us and, like, honest and leveling with us on every level. So it's been super positive with those guys. And, I expect the same going forward. These guys know how to win. They know how to run an organization, and it's clear from day one.
Speaking of great shooters, Cam Johnson and JJ Redick were talking about you and a bunch of other great shooters on the podcast. What did it mean to you to be on JJ's podcast? What did it mean to you to be in that conversation with guys of that caliber, and especially JJ, the guy who's a legend as a shooter in the league?
Yeah, well, I mean,
being like, hey, I see you, Corey Kispert.
Yeah, no, I've had a couple conversations with JJ in the past, and he's a really good dude, and he knows his stuff. A lot of guys that run podcasts think they know stuff, but he's been there, he's done that across the board.
It's me, the guy who has a podcast. Hey, at least I have a radio show too.
Yeah, you're multifaceted.
There we go.
But JJ he knows what he's talking about, and they kind of get that credit from him as special. And he notices like the way I move off the ball, and not a lot of people are trained to see that. So from a guy that's been there and done that like him, to kind of see the impact that stuff has in the game, it's cool. It's really cool.
Do you have any interest in like doing the media stuff eventually?
Yeah, a little bit for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see you doing it.
Yeah,
you talk about the game very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely during my playing career, it's gonna be much harder, until I get older. But post career, we'll see.
Okay, just curious. All right, let's get you started right now with one prognostication. Who do you got in the WNBA finals?
One prognostication. You know what? I'm gonna go with Courtney Vandersloot and the New York Liberty.
All right, that's another Liberty
Gonzaga.
vote.
Gonzaga connection.
All right, going with the personal one. Okay, that's fair enough. All right, and then last but not least, because we're a Hokie Sports Radio show and we can't come up with a better title, we're doing what we're calling our Whiz Quiz.
Okay.
So our Whiz Quiz, your favorite vacation that you've been on ever?
Yeah, we did talk about it before we got on the air. It was the honeymoon. Croatia and Greece. I'm a big Game of Thrones guy. Watched the show a couple different times. So being in Croatia and Dubrovnik was amazing for me. And then I was a beach bum in Greece and we never left the beach.
All right. What's the place that you haven't gone on vacation yet that you want to?
I really want to go. I mean, it's no secret also. We talked about it. I'm a golf guy.
Yeah.
And you had your wedding in Scotland.
I did.
And I am very jealous of you for that. I want to go to the UK, travel up to Scotland, play a bunch of golf, and drink a bunch of recovery Guinnesses. It's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah, I feel like you have a great name in a Scottish accent.
Corey
Yeah,
Kispert.
yeah, Corey Kispert.
Yeah, Corey Kispert.
Yeah, they just call me Craig during the wedding, and now my wife occasionally around the house is like Craig. That's gonna wind up on Instagram.
Oh,
okay, teammate. Or actually, sorry, missed one. Your coffee order.
Iced Americano with a little almond milk. Extra
Okay.
shot of espresso.
Nice. Okay, so we're getting caffeinated.
Yeah,
I feel like
I get very caffeinated.
yeah, but you're what? You're like 6'5", 6'6",
6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, 6'7", and I'm
Sorry,
from,
that's I'm rusty on my heights. That's not me like looking at you walking over here being like, that
Yeah.
guy shrunk.
Well, I am from Seattle, and I think if you cut me, coffee would bleed out of me. So
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to do that for
Please
just
don't.
for the record.
Yeah, if-
Teammate that you trust the most to drive on a road trip.
Anthony Gill's very responsible.
Teammate you trust at least to drive on a road trip.
Deni Avdija.
Yep,
Not
that's-
responsible.
Yep. Best and worst on the aux in the locker room.
Best, I would say JP has been really good. Small sample size, but he's been really good. And then worst, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus today. We've had
Wow.
some good stuff in the locker room lately.
Okay.
Mhm.
We've been told the correct answer is Deni, but that's fine.
Nah,
We got last one. One shot on the court anywhere outside the paint for $1,000. Where are you spotting up?
I'm going to go from the left corner.
Okay.
If you're facing the hoop, left corner for 3.
All right. You'll have company there. That's also Tyus' spot. So
Love
there
it.
you go. Corey Kispert. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
brother.
All right. Our coverage will continue with Deni Advija, actually, in just a little bit. All right, continuing and wrapping up our Wizards Media Day coverage here on the Team 980 and 106.7 The Fan on YouTube with Deni Advija. Deni, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So how's your off season been? How long you been back in the States?
Wow, I've been in Israel for like 3 months, and then I came back a little earlier to the States. I'll say beginning of August, and then I stayed here for 3 weeks, worked out, and then came back home for another 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then came back here.
How long does it take you to adjust time zones and everything?
I'm really easy now. Like I know the technique and how to do it. And
what's the secret?
First of all, like not sleeping on the flight a lot, which is hard. But you know, you better do that than staying up all night and back home. So
yeah, I got you.
And that's about it.
Okay, that's take notes. Go to Israel. Don't sleep on the flight. Although I feel like on the way there, is it different on the way there versus on the way back?
Like time-wise?
Well, I'm saying like the technique. Like, do you want to sleep on the flight there and not sleep on the flight back?
So no. So flying from Israel here, you don't want to sleep. So
right.
So let's say I fly from Israel and let's say like 11 p.m.
Okay.
I get here probably around 4 p.m. or like 3, something like that, or 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then I won't go to sleep immediately, even if I'm gonna be exhausted. Like
you got to make it. You got to make it so you sleep through the night.
That's
American
what I'm saying.
time. Yeah.
I gotta make it till 9:30 at least.
Right.
Then I'm not.
We're going to Israel from DC.
Going to Israel, I feel like you do need to slip a little bit.
Yeah.
You need to sleep more. But it's easier. I feel like it's easier for me to adjust there.
It's kind of like when you fly to Europe. It's the same direction. Or like you fly California to here. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You can kind of do the red-eye bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Taking our notes.
Cool.
Now, you weren't the only one, though, that took that flight. A couple of your coaches, I know, like Zach Guthrie, one of your assistants, he went over and saw you in Israel. What's it like for you to have those guys come over and work with you?
Amazing. It was exciting because they finally saw, like, where I'm from, or, like, my culture, or, like, what do we eat, how do we treat each other, like, you know, the love in the air and, like, the fan support. And I feel like it's important for people to see where I'm from because then they can understand me. You know, and where I'm coming from, and honestly, like how to be more connected to me.
Yeah, so, absolutely. That's been connectivity's been a big word. You know, obviously it's always kind of a thing, but like I feel like Will and Michael, and especially Will, like that's his thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I love what the front office is doing. Like they're asking questions, they talking to us, and they making sure that we feel comfortable and we have the best environment to succeed. And I feel like if it starts from there and we are happy and we're playing good, everybody's happy. So it's a good mentality to have.
No doubt. So I'm going to ask the uncomfortable, silly question, elephant in the room. We all know that it's contract year for you. Mm-hmm. And in talking to players in the past about it, it's kind of like, when you're out there on the court, like you don't think about it. But maybe during the off season as you're training and like you're trying to find that extra motivation, like that's maybe in the back of your mind. For you, was that the case at all?
Maybe it's good. I mean, obviously, I always work hard, no matter like my first year, my second year, no matter what happens. And but like having a contract year, it gives you a little additional boost. But I feel like I'm just acting like I'm Deni. You know what I'm saying? I'm not changing anything I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of. I know my abilities and my quality on and off the court. And I feel like obviously I like the city, but you know, like I don't really want to anticipate what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be smart whatever I do, but I don't want to anticipate and I don't want to talk before everything happens. So I'm cool right now. I love the new guys. I'm settling. I'm working hard, and that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, whatever happens.
Yep.
You know, you play well, it takes care of itself.
Appreciate it.
So when you hear about kind of the basketball stuff that they want to bring in, and Wes talked about this with us earlier, like the word he uses, modernize. I want to modernize the way we play. I want to play faster. You know, we want to shoot more threes. We want to get after it. Like, how do you feel like you fit? I mean, you're a guy that runs the floor extremely well. So, like, how does that faster tempo and the new style fit you?
As having Turbo as my new nickname, it really like it made a smile on my face, like seeing play faster, because I do push the pace a lot and I like doing it. And like finally, if it's gonna be part of our system, it's obviously gonna help me put a lot of benefits. But honestly, I think Wes is doing a great job of like learn the tactics, know how the team's gonna run, and obviously we're young, we're fast, we have a lot of talent, and there's no reason for us to not run. So I feel like it's a good.
Yeah, hopefully that continues to get a few more threes for you guys generated as well. Like besides just shooting a lot, is there something specific you can do to help improve your shooting during an off season where you can see a jump in percentage?
Mentality. It's like shooting on days that I don't feel good, on days that I'm tired a little bit, on days that my mind is challenging me to make shots. Even though playing a lot of games versus like all the games I'll play like shooting, but I'm not shooting versus other people. I'm shooting versus myself. Like, this is the hardest competition.
Like a beat the pro kind of thing.
It's like beat myself.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. Like making like let's say 7 in a row and 5 spots. But it can take you 10 minutes and it can take you like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? But being there 2 hours, that's where that's where you try to beat yourself because it's a tough opponent. Be there 2 hours, your mind is like, damn, I'm not making like that's where your mentality needs to be better. And I feel like I did a lot of those stuff during the summer, and hopefully it's gonna benefit.
How you continue to evolve, defensively has kind of been your calling card here. Like, how much time do you spend in the off season defensively, which is something that is such one, it requires another person to practice on some level, but also it's very team oriented. So how do you practice that skill set and keep it sharp during the summer?
It's tough to work on defense. You should work on your body, on your athleticism, and I did it all. How explosive I go and how to use my feet better when I slide on defense, how to be more upright so I won't foul as much, stuff that I need because I know how to defend. You know what I'm saying? I'm smart enough to defend. I know the scouting report, like I read it, I know the players by now, and it's just like the experience makes you better, the body being better. It's all come to a play. So I feel like you don't need to really work on defense in terms of like, okay, playing defense, but you do gain everything from doing kind of everything.
Yeah, and talking to some people, I'm excited to see what you guys can do on that end of the floor this year, changing up a few approaches. I think that was an off-the-record conversation I had, so I'm not going to get into the tactics because I don't want to get in trouble.
No,
and I don't want to get you in trouble either.
No.
Denny Avdija with us, staying out of trouble here on the Team 980. I know KP was kind of a big brother for you. So how does kind of where you sit in the locker room change, losing that guy as a mentor? Is there someone else that you've talk to a lot that gives you advice, or are you like, okay, I take what he taught me and I'm ready to step into a little bit more of a leadership role myself?
It's gonna be hard for Porzingis to hear it, but like, Gallinari was kind of like he shows me a lot of similarity in terms of the relationship I had with KP,
Okay.
Which is really funny. Like I remember how I established a relationship with KP, and I can see Gallo as like my big brother, like who really understands where I came from because he came from Europe too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great, and I just wish the best for Porzingis. Honestly, like I want him to win a championship. I want him to be in a good team, and he had his part. He made me feel at home. He made me feel good, and I feel like that's part of life. Obviously, I'm gonna stay in touch with him, but I wish him all the best.
Yeah, that's part of life in the NBA for sure. By the way, his championship odds got a little better this week. The Drew Holiday trade. Good gracious, they're going to be not very fun to play. I mean, fun as a competitor, obviously, but chances of success obviously got a little bit harder. I think the partnership between you and Kyle is so interesting from a basketball standpoint. You're similar size players. Occasionally, you guys operate in similar areas on the floor. How has the evolution gone to continue to learn how to maximize both of your abilities when you're on the floor together?
I feel like you establish a relationship on the court and knowing how to play off each other. Obviously, like I'm gonna be anchored defensively, and he really is gonna be creating a lot offensively. But I think like us working together and being in the team for a long time, he cares about me, I care about him, and I think we're gonna have a good year, honestly.
All right, last couple of things for you. First, who do you got in the WNBA finals?
Liberty.
Wow, so many people are picking New York.
I mean,
they're great. I'm surprised that
why?
everyone's because Vegas is the favorite.
Yeah, but I mean,
New York's great.
Yeah, New York is good. I feel like just like they're exciting to watch. You know what I'm saying? They got some good players.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously Sabrina.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
And I'd say Vegas is pretty exciting too.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm rooting for Alicia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's been here, so.
Yeah. Okay. That'll help you
Yeah,
with her for sure.
course.
Although she's still going to be very mad that you picked New York. All right, and then last but not least, we're doing this with everybody. Deni will be the last participant of our Whiz Quiz because we're a sports talk radio show, and that's as creative as we could get with the title. All right, series of fast, quick hitting questions for you.
Okay.
All right, favorite vacation that you've been on?
Wow. Damn. Wow. You know, like, people are gonna laugh, but I don't really go on vacations.
Okay.
Like, I feel like home.
I mean, you live in a place where people,
spot. That's what I'm saying.
go on
Like,
vacation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so busy going everywhere here that, like, when I come back to Israel, I don't want to see planes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I want to sit on the beach, eat delicious food.
That's all I need, though.
Yeah,
That's all I need. I'm going to have time. I feel like when I have family and I'll
Yeah.
be a little more mature, I think that's when I'm going to pick up my vacation spots. But
Okay. Do you have a place? This is our second one that we've been asking everybody, and it feels like the whole world is open to you. Do you have a place that you want to go on vacation that you haven't been yet?
maybe Central America.
Okay. That's a great call.
Yeah.
That's a great call. I went to Costa Rica a long time
Oh,
ago.
there
It's
you go.
fantastic.
There you go.
Highly recommend.
There you go.
All right. What's your coffee order?
Depends.
Okay.
Morning or evening?
Oh, you're a morning. Both. Culture us.
So in the morning I usually drink stronger coffee. I'm
Okay.
gonna say
Are you like a big coffee guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna say espresso in the morning, and then I'm gonna have a cappuccino in the evening because I like to sip it. I like to sip it a little longer, but that's
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Teammate you trust the most to drive on a road trip?
The drive, like
Yeah.
drive, like
Like if you were like, hey guys, we're going on a road trip for the weekend. Who do you want to drive?
Anthony Gill.
Okay. That's been a very common answer. Here's the scary one. Who's the least likely to drive?
Me.
Okay, that's literally every single person said
People
you.
said it, right?
Yeah.
People said me.
Yeah.
Like, how many people said me?
I think we're 5 for 5.
What? You're crazy.
You said you. Why are you surprised? You said you.
Under the bus? That's crazy.
I will say,
That's crazy.
Corey. Actually, no. I apologize to Corey Kispert. I think you're only 4 for 4 because Corey refused to answer the question.
Yeah, because he didn't want to throw me under the bus.
That's exactly what he said.
I respect you, Corey. I appreciate
All right.
it.
I mean, look, man. If the answer
Coach
is
was saying that too.
okay, no, Wes. I didn't ask Wes the question.
All right. But if you see me driving around D.C., just know I'm sorry. Like, I love you guys.
All right, we'll talk to Michael Winger about getting some driving lessons for Deni. All right, best and worst on the aux in the locker room.
Wow, worst? Wow, who's worst? I'm going to say Kuz on worst.
That's hilarious because he said you.
Really? Yo, he crazy. That's insane. I'll tell you why. Because everybody who comes to the weight room while I'm lifting, they're like, Deni, I like this music. Because I'm listening to house, you know?
Okay.
A lot of like kind of like summery vibes music.
Yeah.
Like, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
And Kuz always hating. Like, for some reason.
Or
he loves
yeah.
the vacation spots like Greece, all those places. But then when they play the music there, he's cool with it. But when I play the music, like, he's not cool with
It's
it.
not what he wants in the weight room,
crazy.
I guess.
Who's the best?
Who's the best? Had a lot of different answers for this one.
Wow. I'm gonna say AG.
Okay, that's one we haven't gotten yet. I like it.
I'm gonna say AG. Well, who you had mostly?
Kuz said himself, which is
Oh my
hilarious.
God. Okay, so now it makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, now I mean, I guess you guys just have different tastes in music. I think that is that's valid. JP got a vote. I'm trying to remember who else. But AG
I didn't get a vote.
No, you have not gotten a vote yet. But
we'll
you know,
see.
at least we know where you're like. We know where to go if we want a very specific kind of music,
That's
though.
cool.
Like you're an
So
expert in your area.
Yeah,
I think
it's
I think there's something to that, Deni.
It's cool. I'm gonna like my music no matter what. So
As you should.
Yep.
Hey, look, it's art. Art is subjective.
Yep.
It's in the eye of the ear in this case of the beholder. All right, last question for you. You get one shot outside the paint for $1,000. Where are you spotting up?
outside the pin, no matter
Yeah,
what.
you the obvious correct answer for you as a 6'10" basketball player. If I said anywhere, would be like I'd like to dunk it. So I'm taking that away from you. Anywhere outside the paint. Yeah, outside the paint.
I'll go and float it like floater.
Okay, from right outside the
From
paint.
like right outside the paint. But like,
do we want to just have the full music?
I got the worst.
The
taste
full
in
music fight now.
How is it possible? You going to Greece, you're hearing all my music there, you're fine with it. But then when you go into what? I do have a changeup. You're crazy. You're not in. You don't listen to music enough. You don't listen to my music enough. All right, I chose you for the worst one too, so we're even.
Everyone chose him for the worst driver.
No,
you know who else chose him for the worst driver? Him.
Oh, definitely.
At least we know.
I love you.
And that's how we wrap up our Media Day coverage. Deni Avdija, appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Anthony, that's Wizards Media Day. What a finish.
Man, Kuz coming up.
I think we just got our own real things, real people said in real microphones. We just created our own content for the show today.
Yeah, I think that's definitely worthy.
All right, we'll have to hit up the Wizards. As that was happening, a lot of Wizards cameras were coming by. They had fancy microphones and stuff, so we'll get the Kuz side of that conversation as well. Other than that, we appreciate everybody watching here on YouTube. On the Wizards Media Day, of course, the Team 980 is your home for Wizards basketball each and every game on the Team 980. We'll have Dave Johnson back for game days. We'll get Glenn Constor on. Tony Massenberg just walked by. We'll have all these guys on. And definitely a lot of players were like, hey, man, would love to come back on during the season. We already got a pin in Tyus Jones and some content to have. So what was your favorite moment today?
Deni was very funny, very outgoing. I would have to say his interview.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I really enjoyed Tyus, and I'm very excited to talk to him like on a serious level. But at the end of the day, we are a goofy show that does goofy things, and what goofier ending than Kuz and Deni fighting over music at the end? That's the coverage here from Capital One Arena. We will see. We better get going. At an hour and 55 minutes.